The suspense drama Condition of Return, winning over critics and audiences at film festivals all across the country. Now it's hitting theaters. Here's a closer look.
Mike Stafford called.
Is this about that church shooting?
What makes a person do something like that?
Eve, you said in your statement that the devil made you do it. You care to elaborate?
Wouldn't be doing myself any favors.
The girl is sane and fit to stand trial. You understand?
I feel bad for you.
Why is that?
Because hell is real.
And starring in the film is a familiar face from shows such as CW's 90210 and Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. So please welcome our CW family member, actress, director, and activist, AnnaLynne McCord. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you
morning.
for having me.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. So the Hollywood strike, the writer's strike, is still going on, but your film got an interim agreement. Can you explain how that worked that allowed you guys to continue working on your film?
We were begging and pleading, like, please, this is a passion project, it's relevant. Thankfully, SAG took into consideration that a lot of these little films, indie films, are going to be harmed, and they're here to help us, not hurt us. So thankfully, a lot of independents that are coming out right now are able to be promoted, and ours was one of them, so we're really grateful.
Yeah,
that's great.
So that's how we're able to have you here today to talk more about it, right? So let's talk about the movie and the film. You play Eve, who's arrested for committing a mass shooting. So there's some heavy topics here.
Yeah. I didn't want to do the film.
Okay.
Actually, it's the only project in my entire 22-year-long career that I didn't want to do, and so I said yes immediately, because that's just my style. It was like, the director was like, she said yes within 24 hours. We were like so blown away.
Yeah.
I needed to know why I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
And it was because I play villains. I played villains for 22 years. I can't play a character that I'm going to judge. And I was afraid that I didn't know how not to judge her. So I said yes, because I was going to have to find a way. You know?
Challenge yourself.
I was going to have to find a way to not judge this character, to, even if you don't care about her, I was going to find a way to make you understand her,
So
at least a little bit.
Explain the storyline then.
Oh, gosh.
Without giving it
Bless
away.
her heart. So this is a woman who, I mean, she gets hit with, when it rains, it pours. She gets hit with one thing after another in her life. And there's a theme of toxic theology in her world, and this blind faith in something where you give up your sovereignty to something else. And I think we do that with a lot of things. I was talking actually at our world premiere when we did the Sedona International Film Festival, and I was saying, some of us bow down to the almighty dollar. A lot of us do, right? We give over some of ourselves to these things that we put our faith into. We need to make sure that what we're giving ourselves over to is something that we should be giving ourselves over to. And through the film, you find that she's willing to give herself over to pretty much anything that will get her what she wants. And that's kind of what unveils without giving away too much.
Yeah. So you said it was relevant, right? And that's why you were begging SAG to allow you guys to promote it. What do you hope people walk away from after they see it?
Well, actually, if I may, I have a challenge. I would like to challenge the journalist community to return to the intention you likely held at the onset of your profession, to offer the public information that is of value. What value do we get out of seeing the names and faces of individuals who massacre members of our country? We can get that information anywhere, right? Why do we need to see their names? I dealt with suicidality. I talk about my mental health journey a lot. I dealt with suicidal ideation. I walked those valleys of shadows. And when you live your life feeling unseen, you would do anything to be seen. I dreamed of being an actress because I thought maybe if they see me, maybe I'll matter. And there, according to the National Institute of Justice funded research that the DOJ did, they're saying that mass shooter wannabes are looking to other mass shooters for inspiration.
And now you're using your voice for a lot of causes, aren't you?
I am. I'm trying to, and I'm grateful to you guys for offering a platform for that. I work fighting the issue of human trafficking. I've been doing that for 15 years. I'm grateful to films like Sound of Freedom for highlighting it on the grand stage. I have a campaign called the Love Storm, and we are trying to connect the dots between organizations. So instead of like little waves on the ocean, a big tsunami fighting this issue, because it's in every country of the world. So the lovestorm.com is where people can go to find out more about my organization and the work that we do. But mental health is also something because of my own personal journey. And I think that this film, it's all about that. Her mental health just deteriorates throughout the film, or throughout her flashbacks in the film. And you start to understand that, I think playing villains my entire career, I've learned one thing about villains, and it's that villains do not exist. There are people who do, based on having enough suffering and enough pain and enough trauma and abuse and neglect and abandonment, there are people who do horrible things. And we're good and we're bad, right?
One thing we should mention, though, is in your film you work with another family member of ours, who is actually a superhero in some sense, right? Superman himself.
Superman, I know. It was so funny. So we were filming, and he's a part-time police officer, and so he has an actual handcuff key. So he was like, he just whips out his handcuff key. He's like, "Are those uncomfortable? Let me take them." I was like, "Should you really be doing this to the prisoner?"
Right. Hey, you can hear the passion in so much of what you do, so I appreciate your passion for raising awareness for such important issues, and for being here today to talk about the film.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So Condition of Return hits theaters next Friday, September 22nd, and will stream on October 24th.